Hello, Capricorn. I'll give everybody a couple minutes here to join us. So good to see you. Hope you're doing well today. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be taking a look at your forecast for the next 6 to 8 weeks, really bringing through all of the opportunities, all of the twists and turns and challenges that you might be facing. So it's good to see everybody. This is Apollo. My name is Nicholas. You're here for the monthly reading. And basically the way that this works is I always like to begin with channeled messages at the beginning, and then we'll get into that Celtic Cross, which is going to show us a nice sort of temperature check of what's going on. Plus, of course, we'll look at that expanded forecast for health, wealth, love, and destiny. There's a lot more, as you can see, but we'll get to that as the reading progresses. A couple of quick notes here. First of all, if you enjoy what you see here, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button. Now that I'm working remotely, I'll get more into that in a second. It's going to be really important that you are subscribed so you don't miss out on anything. And also click that bell icon too to make sure that you get all of the notifications. Additionally, follow me on social media. My name is my handle everywhere except Twitter, where it's just first initial last name. Remember that I don't use any sort of direct messaging, and I don't offer private readings. I just do the YouTube offerings here. So if anybody offers you a product or service, you know it's not me. If you do want to show love and support, you can do that through a super sticker or super chat. Let me get my display set up here on the side, and let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. So first of all, you may notice a different backdrop. I am currently in an Airbnb. I had to leave my apartment because I kept telling you guys about all the visions that I was seeing about the rain and the water. Lo and behold, there was a termite infestation there. So I left the apartment. I'm in good space here, and basically taking a couple of months to find just a really perfect place, and I'll be really discerning with it. All that being said, let's get into your channeled messages for today. So this morning I was shown basically a combination of fog and clouds, I should say. And basically, I think that for many of you, Capricorn, this is a moment for you to kind of get out of that feeling of where am I or what's going on. It's an orientation period, if you will. So let me pull up the slide presentation. We'll talk a little bit about clouds and fog and discuss how this is going to play into the month ahead for you. The first thing that I thought about was that old Joni Mitchell song, Both Sides Now. And she kind of goes between the different phrasing. She talks about life and love, but it starts off with the clouds. And she says, I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's cloud illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. And it's really about understanding that we look at life through different lenses, right? The lens of nostalgia, the lens of culture, of family, of our own sort of expectations. And a lot of times these lenses cloud our vision and create the cloud illusions. And again, listen to the song if you haven't. There's some great covers of it as well. But basically the whole metaphor here is that life looks different from different ages, from different vantage points, because we carry with us more life experience. And it's like a pair of glasses. We can see things more clearly. Sometimes we realize there's some things we still are figuring out. Even when we're, in our 70s, 80s, and 90s, we're still learning things, right? So going into that and sort of borrowing a line from Joni Mitchell here, the cloud illusions. Of course, we would have to bring the Seven of Cups here. There's a lot of cards with clouds actually in tarot, but this one I thought of first and foremost. Let's talk about fog first. It is a form of cloud cover. It's basically a cloud that's closest to the earth in lay terms. And when you're in the middle of a foggy situation, you can't always see what's in front of you. If you've ever been driving, there's even like a separate set of lights that help illuminate during the fog. Now, just because something's not there, it doesn't mean, or something isn't visible, it doesn't mean that it's not there. And I think that's one of the one things that you'll want to focus on this month is it harkens back to having faith. Also staying true to your vision if other people are cloudy around you, and not losing hope either. Like, I know that this will work. I know that this can happen. We've done the work. We've done the research. I may not see it. I may not see it today, but that doesn't mean tomorrow it won't happen. For your communications day to day, it's a time to be as clear as possible. Leave enough room in communications to make sure that people can ask questions. If they don't ask questions, make sure that they are clear and say, hey, I just want to make sure, did that make sense to you? Is there anything that you want to kind of like get out in the open or ask me questions about? Incite that sort of curiosity just to make sure that something's not being missed, because sometimes people are just afraid to ask questions. Figure out what you want. The Seven of Cups is a great card for brainstorming and like exploring all the options, but it isn't super clear. And I would say one of the important things for you is to just to focus on making sure that you know what you want, because if you don't know what you want, then other people are not going to be able to figure it out. Okay? Clear your schedule, clear your environment, clear your mind. All of these things are going to help you understand what's going on and help other people understand what's going on. So I'm all for multitasking, but I do think that there's a time and a place for the multitasking. And I think in this part of your journey here for the next 6 to 8 weeks, it would be better to do less, but to do it more effectively and with more focus. You and only you can decide what it is that you want to do. Even I'm here to basically give you a compass, help you to figure out which alignment to kind of focus on. But overall, it's going to be up to you to decide if that's what resonates with you in the long run. Okay, so listen to your heart and listen to your intuition, and it won't lead you astray. All right, it's time to get perspective, everyone. Clouds warm and dry the Earth's atmosphere, supply water to the surface by forming precipitation, and we're looking at this sort of insular sort of view of things. So the Eight of Cups is coming through to say, let's go to higher ground. Let's get away from the clouds. Let's get away from the environment, whether it's something that's an extreme, because we're looking at the two extremes here. And the Eight of Cups is really cool because it also helps with making and breaking different cycles in your life. It's an open door, if you will. So if you want to walk away from something, but you're not quite sure yet if it's a permanent sort of decision, this would be the equivalent of taking a sabbatical, perhaps saying like you need to take a break from something, a vacation or a holiday, and come back and then make your decision. I think there's a lot of value in doing this and sort of sleeping on a big decision to make sure that you're not overextending yourself and doing something in the moment where there's too much emotion. Get yourself out of an emotional state before you commit to something. And I just went through that, and one of my relatives reminded me of that kind of, if you're in a grief-stricken state or if you're in a stressful state or both kind of mashed together, which is often the sort of case, what you want to avoid is signing a contract or making a big decision. And I had to do both when I was trying to move into my old place. And that definitely created some clouds around me. So take a page from my history book and don't do that. Take time, get someone else there to put a fresh set of eyes on something. Excuse me, because we can't underestimate how difficult it is to work through grief and stress. One alone is a lot. Two of them together, it's going to make even someone that's really tuned in feel a little bit cloudy. So take your time. Let's focus on the next card here. Every single ace card in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck has a cloud on it. The hand reaching from the firmament from heaven basically has a cloud around it, because it's showing, first of all, that things are incoming, just like a storm system. It's also representing the cosmic or divine hand. So it's all coming up aces. You're going to be able to deal with anything with that energy of opportunity. Find the opportunity even in a challenge, and you're going to be okay. So this is a time not to limit yourself and not to focus on what didn't work. Focus instead on what can be. I like to talk about this a lot, but in this particular situation, clouds, and I don't think we've ever covered this on this channel here, every single ace card has a cloud in it. And you can imagine the clouds clearing or bringing things in. They're a sign of fertility too, because rain, we need that sort of system. It's a cyclical sort of thing, which is why I put it on this when I was talking about warming and cooling trends and the fact that it's part of our sort of our weather cycle on this planet. So if you're willing to step into something new, it's all aces, and you get to choose which ace you want. Whether it's going to be resources, love and creativity, action, or ideas, they're all there for the picking. Okay. The clouds of creation is something I wanted to talk about as well. If you think of our not our universe, but our solar system, each solar system in the Milky Way, and even the Milky Way itself, originally it was kind of like an accretion disk. Fancy word for this sort of frisbee, where suns are, usually it's a star or two or three that are at the center of the accretion disk, and they basically create gravity that pulls things together. And then the gravity also of these rocks and ice and other elements pull things together, and all of that gravity eventually cleans up the clouds. So everything's spinning around in a circle until it, it slams together into bigger parts that creates the suns, the moons, and the planets. So at the beginning, it's all dust. It's all a mess. And beginnings usually are messy. But things clear up, and in that clearing, something amazing exists. So back to the fog metaphor. It may be messy at the beginning. You may not be able to see past this, but that doesn't mean you will always be in the dark or you will always have that clouded view. Pick one thing, focus on that one thing, really bring that into creation, and I think some great things will happen. Let the sun shine in. We're back in the 70s or 60s now with that song, because that was Age of Aquarius, right? So this is basically saying, step into the spotlight, be the light, don't seek the light. And it's your enthusiasm, your vision, and your belief that is going to be so contagious. If you're in an environment that doesn't allow this, and that happens a lot, they don't want you to speak up, they don't want you to shine, they want you to just sort of blend in. It's a red flag. It's time for you to move on. It's time for you to be able to go somewhere where you can shine. All right, so let's move on to the next couple of slides. Back to two different energies that I would associate with clouds, which is the clouds themselves and also water. So we're going to be looking at two court cards, one with air and one with water. So the Queen of Swords came to me as I was meditating on this, and it's about being active, being proactive, being the agent of change. And it's so nice and easy sometimes when things just land straight in your lap, right? Who doesn't want an easy solution? The Queen of Swords is saying, yeah, I'll take that, but I'm also not afraid to speak up, act when I need to act, and be the agent of my own change and development in my life. So act before others do. The early bird gets the worm here, and sometimes the person that speaks first at a meeting gets credit for that idea. So if you have a good idea and you know that it's the time for change to happen, this is a time to be vocal, okay? And active, because the Queen of Swords is both. She communicates and she takes action. The energy of air is behind her, moving things. We can't ignore the emotional component because clouds are both. What are they basically? Water droplets suspended in air. So this month, is, even though we're looking at a sign that's not water and air, it's going to be about the energy of emotions and action and ideas. So I pulled the King of Cups here for you. You're entering into a period of increased sensitivity. Use that to your benefit. Use it to help other people get connected to what you're talking about. That Sun card that I had could actually be fed through this sort of emotional energy, because it's all about charisma and birthing and bringing people into what it is that you have to say. If you feel overwhelmed, ask for help. You can deal with this. It's just a matter of knowing that you're not alone. The heart's not going to be pushed into the back seat, so use your creativity, just like the Queen of Swords would use her words. Use your creative side and your expressive side to help channel that into something productive. With the Queen of Swords and the King of Cups sort of as your meditation visualization, that's going to help you. You have the ability to communicate and take action, and you have the ability to channel and inspire people through the emotions and through the sort of interpretation that you have of things. All right, so clear, cleanse, and release is what I chose as the title for that, because it's super important to do all of those things, not just now, but in every part of our life. Let's go ahead and begin, folks. We're going to look at the Celtic Cross. This is going to be for the next 6 to 8 weeks. And as we focus on this Celtic Cross, just a reminder that you can use this for your sun, your rising, and for your moon sign. All right, so give me a second to lay out all the cards, and then we will talk about how this is going to connect with you. Thanks for confirming it was the fifth dimension. I thought it was. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully your day is getting off to a great start and you had a good week if you're watching this live. Let's see, let's pull back a little bit so you can see a little bit more. Try to get this set up in a good position. There we go. We just got that the other day, so I'm going to pull one more. We got a volunteer, but I'm going to do one more. All right, so let's begin with your catalyst card today. You've won the lottery, a very sort of colloquial card here. It says, make room for wonderment. One thing that I talked about when I did an impromptu on, I think it was Monday of this week, was that there's always the possibility for things to go better than you anticipated. A lot of times we think about worst case scenarios, right? What if this happens? Why did this happen? Why can't this happen? Instead of, what about that? What if it actually goes far beyond your expectations? So this card is really encouraging you to step into that energy of possibilities. The card is reversed because it's a different way of thinking for many of us. We typically don't go there. And if you allow yourself to go there, it could be exciting. You could surprise yourself. And here's the cool thing about it. You're not only going to probably bring in a better outcome, the reason you're going to do that is because you're not attached to the success or the failure. You're open to the success, but you're also open to something even better than that or different than that, as long as it's in your highest good. And when you think it could be better than I imagined, then you've told the universe, I'm not limiting myself, not even with my own goals, which may be high. I'm open to see what you have in store for me, positively speaking. I don't need the negative challenges, but I'm open to anything higher or better or sooner or more engaging. And that's really what this is. And if you do that, then you can win the lotto. Not necessarily literally the lotto, but it's sort of like the energetic or karmic lottery, which is far more important because money, it only takes you so far. But when you really land on a synchronicity that opens up this sort of growth trend in the future, that's something that can't be underestimated. Okay, let's go back to the cards and see what else is here. So as we're looking at your center card, very close to what I was talking about with the King of Cups. We have the Ace of Cups here in the center. The card is reversed and it's saying, make sure you sort yourself out. First and foremost this month, it's all about self-care. And if you happen to look at my one card reading for today, it was the Hangman reverse. And with the Hangman in reverse, it's basically saying, slow down long enough to see the blessings around you. Slow down long enough to tune into your body and take care of yourself. This card is saying, really focus on the emotional component of your life. How are you feeling? How much have you been absorbing via like the stress or even the enthusiasm of the people around you? For those of you that happen to be like a parent and you're getting very much into the back to school energy, this can be very stressful for you, right? For those of you that might be a caretaker for a sick parent or a sick relative, this can also be a lot. And even if things are great, you want to make sure that you're taking some time to, whatever your self-care routine is, whether it's meditation, an Epsom salt bath, a massage, or just, making sure that you have 10 minutes to yourself each day to breathe and be in your own space. Whatever it is, do that, okay? Increased sensitivity is definitely a part of this period of time. The cool thing with this is it's still an ace. It's still an option. And you actually got a couple aces. I'm laughing. We got the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Pentacles, and actually when I looked at your health card, we have a broken arrow, which is the Ace of Swords, but a little bit different. We'll talk about that. So you got 3 aces and there's still enough time for a 4th ace to come through. So it really is all aces this month. But this is saying I am discerning when it comes to things that affect the heart. Love relationships, friendships, and things that I have to really commit to. you're going to really make sure that it feels right for you. And for those of you that often put others first, this can be a challenge for you, right? Crossing this, we have the busy card, the Eight of Wands. And I love the way the illustrator on this deck, I'm using True Heart Intuitive. So whoever Rachel True chose for this illustration, it was great. We have the Eight of Wands here. What I love about this is it's showing that if you put your mind to something, anything's possible. And that was a lot of what we were talking about with the fog energy. So you can see beyond the limits of the environment. And some of you, your mind is going so far, so fast, so many miles per hour, that can also constitute a form of distraction. So I don't want you to get too busy and miss something as well. So this card is saying keep up, but don't sort of get lost in the shuffle here. I think that this is a period of time where this card actually portends really great things for business, school, and personal projects. You're going to get everything done that you wanted to get done. But it does sometimes mean that when you're busy, you might miss something. You may even be pushing under the surface some grief or sadness, which is this. So this is a normal way of coping for some people. You just kind of get busy and you forget about the underlying pain. So don't do that. You have to take care of yourself. That's why this card came up first. You're still going to be able to get everything done. Look at me. This has been a challenging month. I'm still here. We're still working. Things are okay. Thank God for this little guy behind me. He's been an amazing companion and nurse. I'm nursing a little bit of a foot fracture here. So he's been great at kind of keeping me grounded. So do whatever it is that you need to take care of yourself. It's important. We're all human beings at our core and under the surface. All right, focusing on the deep past. It's time to get back to whatever it is in your vision. This is basically asking you as a prompt, what are you trying to do? What's the point? What's the goal? Because sometimes we just end up going in circles, right? And we forget why we're doing what we're doing. Why are you working at the place that you're working? Why are you in this relationship? Why are you studying so hard in school? What's the overarching goal or vision that you have? When you know that, you're empowered. Then you're manifesting. When you don't, you can still get there. Synchronicities will still open up for you. That's the lovely thing with the way that the universe works. But you can be so much more effective if you truly are clear. And that goes back to one of those slides that I had when we were talking about channeled messages, about really finding the clarity. Let me pull it up for just a second in case anyone joined late. But yeah, the clearer you are, the clearer everyone else is. And if you're not clear, how are other people going to be able to figure things out, right? They're going to be guessing. And I think it was this slide here. If others are uncertain, this is a time for you to be clear. You need to sort of be the one that is leading the charge. And also, there was another one about inquisitive energy here. Let's see, I think it was another one here. But basically, I think the more you can focus on being able to lead, and you can only lead when you know, the more effective you're going to be. Okay? All right, let's get back to the cards here. So recent past, much like me, you could be dealing with healing and recovery. And if you don't focus on the healing and recovery, then everything else goes away. So we are physical beings on this physical plane. We are metaphysical, we're spirit as well, but we have to take care of our bodies. So you may be tasked or even forced, like I am, to slow down. Whenever you have a cast or a fracture, like I do, I have to do like 1/10 of what I would normally do. And it's mostly now just the dog and I hanging out, walking, and me working with you, and then a lot of time resting and trying to find my next Airbnb and then my apartment. But just little things. I can't run to the store. I have to get things delivered. I have to just chill out. And on some levels, it's nice because I don't do that for myself that often. So let me tell you this. If you're forced to stay home, some of you having a child, and maybe, your final weeks getting ready before the pregnancy, or you just took off some maternity or paternity leave, it's okay. Take care of yourself, heal, take care of your child. If you have any injury or recovery, whether it's something that you opted to get into, so like a elective surgery, or something happened like with me, just make the most of it. You will heal faster
when you don't resist it. I went through a few different things and I kept feeling intuitively and physically that it wasn't enough. Like they put me in a splint, that didn't feel good. They put me in a walking boot, that wasn't working. And I finally found a doctor who was like, yeah, I think I need a cast. And I have zero pain now and it feels so much better. So listen to yourself, take care of yourself, and focus on your well-being. Let's talk about the other non-health parts of this. This, of course, can also represent very strong energies in your life. The Strength card reversed is probably one of the more challenging people that you could face. This does not have to be your mom or your dad. It can be a friend or a coworker or a boss that has sort of like this power over you or feels like they have the responsibility to fix your life and it drives you crazy. And so what you want to really do is hold firm to your boundaries. Hold firm also to the fact that you are powerful as an equal to this person, so you can sit there and say, thanks for the feedback, I'm good. Or yes, I'm absolutely sure that this is what I want to do. And your certainty, your confidence is going to help you not even need to show it. I've talked about this before. A great leader does not need to say or show their greatness. They simply are, and they carry with them an air of gravitas and respect, and you just see them come in the room and you want to kind of like increase your posture and listen to them and pay attention to them. So you're going to focus on embodying all of those qualities of a good leader. So in the crowning card, we have the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is reversed, and I like it reversed because it's showing me an unveiling. So we can actually see the facade being peeled back in the background here. We see this person lifting up a cup and there's a beautiful rose beneath it. Or a flower of some sort. It looks like a rose to me. If we think of the metaphor of a rose, you take the thorns with the blossoms, right? Roses and thorns. And the thorns are a protective element as well. So I feel like many of you may have gotten through a tricky situation. There's something beautiful awaiting you. For some of you, you're just finally starting to see the opportunity that's always been floating out there. In the traditional Four of Cups, that extra cup is like an ace. I'll see if I can find it while we're talking. A couple quick notes about the Four of Cups. Although I think there's a time and a place to get inspired and look and see what other people are doing. If we unnecessarily compare ourselves to others, invariably it sets us up for this feeling of I'm not good enough. And I just found the card. And so I would say be very clear that you are where you need to be right now. And you are absolutely able to shift things in a different direction if you want to. But comparing yourself to someone else's success makes you feel like the person on this card. Why not me? Why not now? But look at the ace. There's an ace in this card, the cup in the sky that looks exactly like the Ace of Cups in this deck. So there's another opportunity for you, tailored for you. That is for someone else. Your path is for you. And when you start to focus on what you can do and things that are better suited for you, you're going to feel happier. Okay? So there's a hidden blessing, basically, just around the corner. Looking at your near future, couldn't ask for a better card. In fact, let's just kind of like draw some connections here real quick, and then we'll look at each independently. The Ten of Pentacles is showing increased resources and support in your life. And in multiple sort of facets, not just money, but like opportunities and people around you. This is you, and this is a great energy for you, the Queen of Pentacles. And we got another ace here in the environment, but there's a question of should you take it or leave it. We have you sort of pushing through traditional structures and being a little bit of a rebel. And then we have the Boss card, the Queen of Wands. It's all good, folks. The only challenges here that we're seeing are doubting or lacking vision, needing to take care of your physical and your emotional self, and maybe not doing that because of your busyness, and maybe missing some of these opportunities because of some of this distraction. So once you ground yourself a little bit, then all of these positive cards start to come through. Let's focus a little bit on the Ten of Pentacles. I just wanted to highlight that it's actually trending in a very positive direction. All right, so the Ten of Pentacles couldn't ask for better when it comes to a question of, can I do this? Will I get this? Can I finish what I started? Yeah, it's all within reach. I like that we see a couple of peacocks, right? On either side. So there's room for more than one leader. Because to me, these kind of remind me of like a King of Wands or something like that. A very bold energy. So don't be afraid to shine or to be yourself. You absolutely can do this. And what I see here is, for many of you, a community energy or some sort of an outreach. So I really want you to focus on your networking. Networking equals success this month. We've been talking about that over the past few readings, but it definitely is shining through for you. This could be also advancement in work. Some of you might also be buying something like a house, because this can represent a house purchase. Okay, we like this. Resources are going in the right direction. You're also very much positioned to succeed in this moment. Queen of Pentacles, one of the best cards for wealth management, for house and home, for parenting, and also for creating something from a very small beginning. So we have the little rabbit at the bottom, which is, of course, a sign of abundance because they multiply quickly. We see a snake that's hidden in the grass, showing hidden strength and power that people may not understand or be able to kind of wrap their heads around. And then always this card has vines and trees and flowers and growth. So this is the one queen card that is good at basically birthing, creating, nurturing, growing, and even if it is from a small beginning, she can make a lot out of it. She's very thrifty, and very frugal, and very sort of just smart with energy and money. So I feel like you're on an uptick when it comes to your resources. And remember, we're looking at this a few weeks before the month that I'm reading. So you may still feel like, I don't know. We're also still in a retrograde, which will eventually ease out towards the end of next month. So you're okay. Even if you don't feel it right now, I want you to start thinking of possibilities, opening up, and seeing that energy going in a direction that is more sustainable and more supporting. This is also a developmental and a nurturing card. Pick something that you want to do and that you like to do. Put your energy into that. The other thing that you want to focus on is self-care, which was a big part of it because, as we talked about earlier, we also have the strength card over here. So take care of yourself and ask for whatever it is that you want. With the card in the upright position rather than being reversed, it's actually quite beneficial because you're not going to come across as needy. You're not going to come across as demanding. You're going to come across as communicative and clear, saying, yeah, I'd be happy to do this. In order to make that happen, I'm going to need this, this, and this. Can I count on you? That's how the Queen of Pentacles is going to say it. Clear, with confidence, no sort of, you don't have to kid glove this at all. You're just going to go in and say what it is. And if you need to kind of like check up on someone, you can say, I hope you're doing great. I know that we're both working together on this. I just wanted to see where the progress is. Let me know if you need anything. Let me know if we're still tracking towards the deadline. I trust you to communicate either way what's going on. So be strong, be also very supportive, and there is a way of inspiring through confidence. One of my best bosses did that. He introduced me when I first came into the job. He said, I want to introduce you to my favorite person, my hero for today, because he's stepping in and he's going to clean up a lot of what we have here, which is, a challenge. And I know we got the right person for the job. If you need anyone, talk to him. It was like he built me up. He kind of did a pep talk to everybody that he introduced me to. And I was like, I've never been sort of like hyped up like that before. And it was so nice. And I felt very inspired. And when I had meetings with him, he would always say just what a great job I was doing. And he would say, I know you're going to do fine on this. And I know if you need help, you ask me for help. So he always instilled confidence and always reminded me that it was a sign of strength to ask for help if I needed it. And it was like the best working experience that I had. I've had a lot of not so great bosses, but that was one who hit it out of the park for 2 or 3 years. I had the honor of working with him. So with respect to the Queen of Pentacles, what I would say here is it's important for you to be able to lead by example, to basically put out the energy that you can see the best in others, and to basically not be afraid to be firm, to be strong, and to basically show others that you have faith in them, that you believe in them. Looking at the environment, we have a discernment card here. The Ace of Pentacles in reverse is basically saying you don't have to accept everything that lands in your lap. There are some things that may not be worth your time, your energy, your investment of time and energy as well. So if something doesn't meet your expectations, if it isn't good enough for you, then it's okay for you to say, you know what? I think I can do better than this. I think I need to do better than this, or I think I need a little bit more here, because everything that we just talked about with the Queen of Pentacles definitely holds true in this moment in time. And so speak up, ask for what it is that you want, and don't be afraid of if someone is going to say yes or no or something to that effect. This is your chance to basically make sure that you communicate what's necessary for your happiness, for your success, and all of that. This could also indicate a job opportunity or a resource opportunity that requires just a little bit of looking. This is a blessing or something that's out of sight. This is something that you're going to have to reach or dig for a little bit more. So you can almost imagine this one as having to dig in the dirt a little bit and find what's going on. All right, so with that being said, one of the things that many of you are going to have to do is to push through old ways of thinking. The Hierophant in reverse is basically saying, yes, there's a system. Yes, there's often gatekeepers holding us back from being able to do what we want to do. But there's also the ability to change systems. And some of you might be in a place right now where you're going to change that up a little bit. This is your opportunity to basically say, this doesn't work. So instead of me continuing to go down a line of thinking or, basically a bureaucracy or hierarchy that doesn't support me, I'm going to create a new channel. I'm going to create change. I'm going to affect change in my life so that this doesn't have to keep happening. So this is why we have a very entrepreneurial card at the very end here. The Queen of Wands here, the Queen of basically possibilities, if you will. She's very inventive. She's a great boss. She's a great manager, and she's able to say, all right, let's do this. And she's able to make it happen, powerfully make something wonderful happen. So this is definitely your moment to change up the generally sort of expected way of doing something. And I think that could be really exciting and unexpected for others. They're not necessarily thinking that, this was the way to have something done. So give yourself the possibility to create, to embark on something new, and to change the system if you want to. Looking at these a little bit differently, unexpected opportunity that lands in your lap, and somebody that sees something in you that you don't see, but nonetheless you have the capacity to fill that role. So you absolutely can step into something even if you didn't anticipate that this is something that should be coming through for you. There could be, this is the blessing right here, an unexpected blessing or opportunity. Someone else is seeing your capacity, but you can step into that if you want to. We have two queens here. There could also be a great partnership on the horizon. This can also indicate love, two very evenly matched energies as well. We'll talk more about that when I look at relationships in just a moment. We're going to look at the expanded forecast next. This is going to be health, wealth, love, and destiny. So for the health card, I always like to remind folks that I'm not a doctor. I am an intuitive. What I'm going to look at is energy, and the energy will help empower you to make good choices. If you're having any issues with your body or if there's anything going on emotionally, work with the appropriate person for that. Looking at health, there were two cards that came through. One is the Shaman, and we actually got this the other day, and it flew out of the deck, so it wanted to repeat itself, and that's good. It's basically saying trust in a higher purpose. So with this, this is basically saying, I know there is a rhyme, I know there is a reason, I know that I can do this. The other thing here is the broken arrow piece. For some of you, you may be dealing with a broken heart, a broken bone like I am. You could be dealing with this feeling like, I can't make this work. Anything that's broken can oftentimes mend or be fixed, or sometimes an arrow is broken so that you are forced to look in a different direction. Because I see this as basically the ability for you to redirect. I believe that in the Thoth deck, I think it might be the Two of Swords, but it might say like truce or peace on it. But again, sometimes you have to lay down that previous direction or the feeling like it's fight or flight and just be at peace with where you're at in this moment in time. And that's what I tried to do even like when we had distractions this morning. You acknowledge the stress, you find the peace, you find the focus, you embark upon a new direction. So let's move on to how that's going to kind of affect you in your general day-to-day health. All right, so with your health, like I said earlier, I feel like emotional sensitivity at a high point. Distraction could come through if you're focusing too much or too often on all of the things that are going on around you. This is basically saying, all right, I need to slow down long enough to make sure that I don't end up making a mistake or a misstep. So slow it down, be present, be focusing on what's going on in front of you and what's going on around you, And I think that that's the main thing here. There's a general note, much like yesterday and much like today's one card pull, to just shift into a lower gear and make sure that you're not missing all of this stuff that we see here that's presenting itself to you. Generally speaking, though, everything looks good here. Some of you might be changing up the routine. And if you are trying to increase your fitness or see some results when it comes to your health, a new routine could help. Obviously, you're going to work with a professional on that. This could be a trainer. This could be a pro that would help out. The main thing that I see, though, is stress management and emotional sort of sensitivity taking the main sort of center stage here. And I think the importance is, what are you going to do to take care of your heart, to take care of yourself? And if you can do that, things are going to be all right. The exhaustion and fatigue, though, of the strength card is something that you don't want to ignore. So some of you are being asked to really listen to your body. What's going on? Is there anything here that you've been avoiding or pushing under the rug? If so, this month it's being asked for you to sort of like deal with it and to bring it into the forefront. Okay. All of that being said, let's move into your wealth card. We have a peace offering card here. So for some of you, there may have been a difficult person in your life. Maybe someone that you worked with. This could also be a family member, and maybe they're casting judgment on you when it comes to how you make your money, what you do for a living. So we see this peace offering card coming through to remind us that, is it really worth it? If you already are not very connected to what this person has to say or what they have to sort of think about you, why give them any more power than you need to? I think in this moment in time, you have the capacity to really be your own person. And there comes a point in your life where you're going to do that at any cost sometimes, right? When I decided to quit my job, I didn't tell everyone first what I was doing. And for a while, I actually I took a couple months off just to reset, kind of like what I'm doing right now, to make sure that I knew what I was going to do next made sense. I remember I had it was like a second cousin, a family member. I was driving down the road, talking to them through the car and like on hands-free. And I was telling him, I'm really done with this path and I'm quitting my job. She said, well, what kind of job are you going to get next? You're going to go back into corporate? And I'm like, no, you haven't been listening to me at all. She thought, she was starting to cast fear and doubt towards me. I said, no, I'm done. I'm working for myself next. She said, oh, okay. And you could hear the sense of fear and judgment and doubt. That was the last conversation I had with that family member, because I could tell that there was disapproval and that there was no support or vision for what I had to do, rather than enthusiasm or curiosity. Like what I would do if someone told me that is I would say, wow, first of all, that sounds amazing. And I think it's really brave to step out on your own. How are you going to make it work? What's your plan? I would ask like that. Just tell me more about it. I've never done that myself, rather than kind of going into a fearful, silent crickets phase where we wrapped up the call and I haven't talked to them in like 7 years. But there comes a point where if someone in your life doesn't know what to do when you're not doing what they expect you to do, then it's a conditional love, right? I tried my best to kind of like explain it to them, but I could tell that they were, at that time I was going to work more with like yoga teacher training, or I knew there might be some coaching as well. And I could just hear the judgment in every comment said. And I was like, all right. After that, I was very picky about what I said to whom. And I waited a few years before I really told people what I was doing. And then at a certain point, it's enough to sustain. And so nobody can really judge you if it's enough to kind of allow you to live your life. So do what you need to do. And you don't owe anything to anybody. And you don't have to argue with your parents, with your cousins, with your sister, with your brother. It's you, right? So there you go. There could be someone that wants to say they're sorry. Someone's asking about this in chat. So of course, there could be a peace offering. I think you can always be open to listen to that, see if it's coming from an authentic place. And I think there's no harm done in saying, I'm in a new space in my life. I'm not holding on to that. Thank you for reaching out. If there's still work to be done, you could still do that, but always go forward with this sense of you don't want to carry a grudge on your shoulder. And you want to go at it with the sort of mindset that I really want there to be no more sort of bad blood. This is something where you would be better suited talking to a therapist to really figure out how you can best go about it. But it's coming through in wealth, which is interesting. So for some of you, I think it's always better to try to work with someone, but you don't have to love them to work with them. And sometimes this hits true with roommates too. You can be really good roommates, but have nothing in common with the person. So this could also be a card of just compartmentalizing things and agreeing to disagree and just agreeing to cooperate and finish the task and then move your separate ways, okay? Because peace doesn't necessarily mean partnership. It just means we can go our separate ways. I'm choosing not to fight with you anymore. And that might be also choosing to walk down my own path because the energy is too aggravating. So find your path of peace, find your peace in quiet, and realize that it's not always about proving that one person is right or wrong. It's about walking your own walk. Okay? Okay. And let's see what else is coming through for wealth. Well, it's all trending in the right direction. So as we said earlier, there's a good networking opportunity coming through. You don't want to miss out on that. You want to be on the outside looking in. So make sure that you say yes to networking opportunities. You can ask for more if you're in a negotiation. There's definitely an opportunity for that. You should be in a position of power because we got a lot of power cards. Strength, Queen of Pentacles, Hierophant, Queen of Wands. They're all bosses. So there may be too many cooks in the kitchen, or there may be a glass ceiling where you're working, where it's not allowing you to get to the next level. And if that's the case, then you know that it's your turn to step out and to do something different. Okay, let me see what else is here. I think some of you are working too many hours or too much. And when you slow down just a little bit, then that's actually when an epiphany can come through and you can start to see things from a different perspective. Again, you may not see yourself as a boss type figure, but others see that potential. So whenever you're ready to step into leadership, then you definitely have the capacity to surprise others and surprise yourself. Everything looks really good, actually, when I'm looking at wealth. It's all going in the right direction. Just don't give up on your vision. Don't allow it to sort of be pushed into the back corner, because you deserve to be happy. You deserve your chance to shine as well, as I said earlier. Okay. Overall, I like this. The only thing that's kind of interesting here is some of you are in too conservative or too traditional of a place, possibly for your approach to be seen or heard. This card, I always like to remind folks that you embody the key. The gatekeeper, as it once was, doesn't really function so much anymore in the 21st century. A lot of new decks will actually have just the key, or a bird with the key, or a person with the key, because you always have the capacity to close and open your own doors. And there may be gatekeepers, but they don't have to be the sole person to the only path for happiness. So look around. There's more options than you might give yourself credit for. Let me see if there's anything else here. I think that's it. Again, your next best opportunity comes through word of mouth or networking. If you're retired, you may be deciding to spend more time with family. This is a card of mentorship. This is a card of leadership. So also your ability to lead others, whether it's through curriculum, public speaking, or mentorship, is also coming through loud and clear. No more tears, no more fear, no more fighting. This is enough is enough. It's time to move to greener pastures and more peaceful ground. Let's look at love and relationships. I love the card, and I love the single message on this. It says hope, love, and acceptance. Love is yours. Recognize your divine worth. Amen to that. Choose loving thoughts. So there's so much to unpackage on this. I feel like this is 6 cards in one. The first and the most important is the word hope. If we lose our hope, if other people are not hopeful around us, it deflates your energy. It's like a balloon that's been popped. So the most important thing for you to focus on right now is the feeling that there's hope for improvement, there's hope for expansion. You want to really connect with that. Love and acceptance are the fuel behind hope. So when you are loved, when you are unconditionally accepted and supported, you can't help but be hopeful. So find people and environments and opportunities that foster that energy of love and acceptance. And then the sort of 4th or 5th energy in this one is really to love yourself. So recognize your divine worth, choose loving thoughts, and basically heal that 5 of Pentacles energy that might be from the past where someone else couldn't see or couldn't support you in the way that you needed to be. So it all begins with self-love. And that is what that Ace of Cups is about at the center, by the way. So love begins within, the Ace of Cups right there. You've got to love and accept and cherish yourself before anyone else can see that worth. Once you do that, by the way, this is a card of marriage and partnership, other people will be stepping in. Now let's focus on love in the three different forms that I like to look at it. Those in a relationship, looking for a relationship, or single and happy. If you're in a relationship, we actually show the two different energies coming through. As an aspect of, this is you, the Queen of Pentacles, and this is also you, this is Capricorn. And then this would be the person that you're with. And it's also going to be the person for people that are looking for love that they're calling in. This is everything that I would expect of Capricorn. Grounded, practical, fact-oriented, nurturing, basically an amazing person. Who doesn't like Capricorn, right? So you have this amazing energy and you're showing up as an upright queen, which is great. So this is basically your ability to emanate all of your positive traits. Your partner is coming through as a very nice complement, someone who can see things from your point of view and others. They're very sort of idea oriented. Now, they may not communicate as much. This is more of a demonstrative energy. Physical connection and physical intimacy is important to your partner. And so one of the most important things I would say right now is the ability for this partner to feel close to you. Just like on the couch here, Apollo's so much more at peace. You don't see him digging so much. He likes to be close to me, and he's like, yeah, Dad, you can talk all you want if I can sit right behind you and I can see you the whole time. So just like a cat or a dog, sometimes, and just like, see how he's put at ease when I give him a little bit of physical intimacy, just a little pet here or there. He's like, thank you, Dad. Good to see you. Your partner can be, it's the same sort of energy. It could just be holding each other's hands, being close to each other, putting your head on their shoulder or whatever. That kind of energy is going to be really important. We're not just talking sex, folks. We're talking about really being close. And that is so important. He's been an amazing sort of healing energy just because of that. He doesn't have to lick me. He doesn't have to do anything. He's just sitting back here being his lovely, supportive self. So that's what I'm picking up on for partnerships. Closeness, being able to show that you care. And it can also be demonstrating that through, doing something that's going to take the stress off your partner. That might be, fixing dinner. It might be picking up the kids. It could be setting up dinner, like a date night, basically saying, hey, I made reservations. Let's hang out tonight, etc. So all of these things are demonstrative. That's going to strengthen it. So what could be kind of getting in the way? There's a lot of energy around work and responsibilities here. Family could be stepping in as well. There is a conservative external energy, again, parents or neighbor or society at large, that thinks that you should be a certain way. This is kind of a non-traditional partnership. This could be a same-sex partnership as well. I don't really read gender in my cards, but for some of you that's going to resonate because there's disapproval more so than there used to be, which is crazy, but that could be popping up. There could also just be someone who feels like they know best how you should raise your children or spend your money. So again, you're going to ignore that and you're going to focus on each other because that's the important thing. Okay? It's actually pretty darn good here for those of you in a relationship because when we look at near future and outcome, it's partnership. So you can do this if you set your mind to it. We don't have any cards that are acrimonious, that are showing separation. The only thing here is that sometimes you feel like you're an outsider. If we look really closely at this beautiful Four of Cups, we see the person on the outside looking in. And so anything that you can do to bridge that gap is going to help out. All right, for those of you looking for love this month, take a break. You're working hard. You're focusing a lot on what others want. You're a little bit tired and you're a little distracted. So it's going to be hard to see this person when they're coming in, which could be, by the way, a fire sign. I also see expectations setting in. Like if you're a certain age, you need to have this done or this done. And that could be, you should be in school, you should have a car, you should be married, whatever. Get that out of the picture. Focus on where you're at. Because if we go back to your catalyst card, even though it was reversed, it says, you won the lottery. You're a blessed person. Make room for wonderment. Make room to be surprised and let other people be surprised by your own progress and your own path. It's exactly what it needs to be. You're exactly where you need to be. etc., etc. So, but I definitely see for many of you, it's important to get out there. This is not just sort of like, this isn't just going to a club or a bar or a family gathering. This can also be a work event, or you doing something that you love, caring about your day-to-day activities, and you find somebody through that. So you don't have to look hard. This is just you existing and plugging into the community at large. That's going to be the important thing. Let's see what else we can garner from all of this. Okay. I want you to focus on, this is so much like what I was talking about before the stream was interrupted earlier. So we talked about the Queen of Pentacles being I hope this made it through, so I'll repeat a little bit just in case. The Queen of Pentacles assumes the best, and she leads by example, and she basically states to people, I know we can do this. She's projecting out positivity. She's projecting out love, acceptance, and hope. And when she says that, we can do this. So in an existing partnership, you're not alone. You're saying that to your partner, not just yourself. We're in this together. When you're looking for love, you realize you deserve it and you're going to find it. And when you meet someone, you're going to respect them and you're going to expect respect back. So this love and acceptance and hope is going to be really, really important in pre-existing and also incoming relationships. Because when you emanate it and when you expect it, then you're going to call in a higher version of the person that was going to show up. Okay? So important. For those of you that are single and happy, I see advancement in work. I see the ability for you to improve your health. I see emotional strength coming through as well. And for many of you, you're going to revisit something that you didn't finish in the past, and it's a perfect thing to do in or on the heels of a retrograde. You're still going to be facing expectations of, are you sure you're happy? And of course you are. If you're single and happy and you're happy, good for you. But there could be other people still coming in thinking that partnership is the only way to completeness, and that's not correct. You actually need to be complete before you get into that partnership. The Ace of Cups is overflowing, and the only way that it's overflowing is when you have more than enough to give. Because if the Ace of Cups is upside down or empty, then you're filling up on someone else's energy. We don't want that. That's vampiric, right? So you want to have more than enough. So that's basically saying, yeah, I'm there. I'm an Ace of Cups. Many of you are working on balancing that out, but that was your core card. So do whatever you need to fill up this month. And if someone judges you, just say, I'm working on myself, the most important relationship. I have to feel complete before I can get into a relationship. So I'm single and I am fulfilled and I'm working on being my happiest version of myself. Are you happy? Why are you so focused on me? Kind of turn it back to them. And at the end of the day, you could just say, I'm really not seeking your feedback on this. Thanks for sharing, but it's my business, not yours. That's true of even your parents, especially once you're of legal age, you get to decide what to do with your life. Okay. For you though, that once you kind of overcome this, again, all of the positivity that we talked about still exists there, okay? And, when I look at single and happy, it's also like the relationship with yourself. I could do 4, but these readings are long enough because it's almost like those in a relationship, looking for a relationship, single and happy. And I would say most importantly, how's your relationship with yourself looking right now? Because that's the third person in any relationship or the second person, even if you're single. There's always that version of you that you need to look at too. So you're showing up pretty good this month, I have to say. All right, let's go straight to your destiny card. And we have spiritual growth. So that's the big opportunity this month. The card is reversed, so there could be some doubt or maybe for some of you, judgment, because as I said earlier, right here, we have the traditional path towards spirituality. Here we have the new age path like we're doing right now. This is a form of spirituality. It may not feel like it, but it is. We're talking about energy. We're talking about healing. It's basically a coaching session too. Look at how the rays of light come out of both of these cards. It's no different. God really doesn't discern. There's a good line from Steel Magnolias where Daryl Hannah's character, she's afraid to go somewhere because she's going to miss church, and Dolly Parton says, just come to mine. And she's all nervous. She said, God doesn't care where you go, just as long as you show up. And that's why we shouldn't even worry about what religion is what? Because I've said this before, they're just prisms. They're all showing one ray of light from the same source. None is better or worse. All have value, all have teachings that we can learn from. The sooner we can bring them all together and get the pure white light of source, the better. But they're all carrying some energy of divinity with them. So your path is your path, and your connection is going to differ from someone else's connection. That doesn't make yours better or theirs worse. Super important for all of us, light workers as well, to remember. Everybody has a different connection to source, and it's all valuable. So let everyone sort of like go their own way. Like that Fleetwood Mac song, you can go your own way. You absolutely can. And you can be happy doing that as well. All right, just checking the connection here. Looks like we're good. Welcome to the new channel member as well. All right, let me go ahead now and take a look at your big idea for the month. And the big idea is going to be one card that helps you find your focus, find your power, find your energy. Let's take a look at this. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse, and we actually got a volunteer, so I'm going to let these two cards come through. So we have the Wheel of Fortune and the Three of Wands. I'm going to pull them up right while we talk about them. They were both reversed. But the Wheel of Fortune is basically saying this is your moment to turn or change or shift the trajectory. The cool thing with the wheel is it kind of doesn't matter where it's focused because it's a wheel and it's round and there's no up per se. So rather than looking at yourself and thinking I'm going in the wrong direction or it's never going to happen, what you want to do now is just decide, where do I want to go? What do I want to do to get to that direction? And what am I going to do today to spin the wheel in the right direction? That's all that matters. It's not where you're at. It's not how long it's going to take to get there. It's just a matter of you continuing to move the wheel in the right direction. And then we have the Three of Wands coming through here. And I love an active Three of Wands. This shows you already in the act of manifestation, because the Three of Wands always carries with it the ability for you to basically not just know that something's happening, but meet it halfway. And so in this moment in time, I encourage you to open up to the possibility that whatever it is that you're trying to do, it's already at your doorstep. It's already within reach. All it requires is for you to look in a different direction. It's okay to change your job. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change your relationship status. There is a change that wants to come about. This one, unlike what we would see with like the Death card, is very much in your own sort of control. Where do you see yourself? Literally, that's what the Three of Wands is saying. Where do I see myself? What am I going to do to get there? And how much am I willing to put forth today to bring that closer? Okay, that's your big idea. But a change is at hand. It's closer than you think. And it just requires the ability for you to imagine that it could happen faster. Let's move on to blessings and blocks next. Just like it sounds, the blessing and block is going to be one thing that really helps elevate, one thing that could potentially pull you down or pull you back a little bit. So we're going to focus on making both blessings here. Okay, so we got blessing and block. We'll start with your blessing card first. So your blessing card is your voice. And for those of you that were told as a child to keep your voice down, that happened to me once or twice, or to stop talking or to stop laughing. Teachers told me that, by the way. That's your voice is your biggest asset. Speak up. It doesn't mean like you have to pontificate and say things forever. What it's saying is say something that matters, say it with conviction, and don't apologize for speaking the truth. Also, take swift action if something needs your attention. The Prince of Swords knows what to do, when to do it, and the Prince of Swords does it. Knights, which is what a prince is, they basically take action, and they don't wait for someone else to tell them what to do. So much like when I had the Queen of Swords earlier, this is coming through too, and it's saying, whenever I look at a knight reversed, it's also saying I'm not afraid to edit, fix, or course correct today. That edit or change will invariably save me so much time and energy down the road. So I'm open to that, I'm ready for that, and I embrace it. And that's basically what that's saying. the only thing that could hold you back, and it's very much connected to your center card, and I also featured this when I looked at the channel messages, we have the King of Cups in reverse. He needs to let something go. Look at him kind of tossing one of those cups over his shoulder, and he's focusing on one. Out with the old, in with the new. He's also trying to get away from people in his life that might want to kind of keep a hold on him. So this is conditional energy. We see that little tentacle at the bottom. And so goodbye to all the stuff that's kind of holding me down or holding me back. Goodbye to anybody that's trying to keep me anchored down when I don't need to be anchored down. And instead, let me focus on something that I'm passionate about, okay? The only thing that really I don't like about this card is he looks a little dismissive or a little checked out. So if there's anything in your life and you just don't feel it, say it sooner than later. You owe it to yourself and you owe it to the other person to really just take the Band-Aid off, right? For those of you looking for love, this is like a first date that doesn't work out. And you just have to say, I had a great time, but I'm not feeling the connection. The words are hard, but the minute you say that, you free them and you free yourself to find a better partner. So when they, you may see that sort of moment of pain in their face, but it's better to say it or just say, I got a great vibe of friendship, but I'm not feeling the spark. There's no nice way to say it, but you have to say it. If you're offered a job and you don't want it, or if you're offered anything and it doesn't resonate, just say, I'm ready to move on to something else. Just speak your truth, get in and out. That's why these two are coupled. Says what he needs to say, moves away. Feels better because he said what he needed to say. And that's the key to happiness this month. Okay? And let's move on now to the viewers and readers' choices. All right. For this, we're going to look at a couple of things. One thing that you'll vote on, one thing that I'll focus on. Okay. If I do end up doing premieres, then probably I'll put something for you to vote on. Maybe, we'll see. Or I might have to just make this reader's choice for a month, but we'll figure it out. Okay. Let's take a look at the cards here and give you a couple things to vote on. And by the way, when this goes on replay, I'm just going to edit it together as one main video, so you don't have to look at it in two parts. And I'll keep the two up until I have that video uploaded, but then I'll just do a single upload so that it's easier for everyone to track. Okay. So let's see what's coming through here. How to regain your vision. How to regain your vision / purpose. I think this kind of goes in with that because that's about being focused. I will. This one's very interesting. How to break down barriers. Seeing the hidden blessing. Okay, so those are a few for you to vote on. I want to look at, let's see here. Okay, I want to look at the Wheel of Fortune, which we just pulled for the big idea. And I want to see what you can do to add some speed and momentum to things. So how can we manifest more quickly? That's the reader's choice. Okay, just take a step is what the card is saying. All right, so really interesting energy here. We have simply to put one foot in front of the other and to just make it happen. Look at all the clouds. They're very connected to today's totem. The one interesting thing with this is I love how this Fool is transparent. When we step into the unknown, when we're not sure of exactly what things are going to look like, the first steps are often the trickiest. Sometimes we take a misstep, but more often than not, we don't. And it's just a matter of being willing and ready to go with the flow here. And what I like to look at with the Fool is it's basically saying, don't try to fill in all the pieces yet. Let it sort of be undefined, certain elements of this. Know where you're going. Be open to having it happen sooner or better than you think, but then let the universe show you what shape this is going to take. So you may find yourself in a new sort of situation where you never anticipated it being as exciting or as challenging or as rewarding as you thought as it actually ends up being. But you're precisely where you need to be. So just keep moving even when everything isn't defined. Carry a lot less baggage with you, emotional baggage and intellectual baggage in particular. And pay attention to the signs along the way because they're leading you down a path that makes sense. Okay? And yes, I have a cast on. I have a very small fracture of one of my metatarsals. I forget which number. I think it's like 4th or 5th. It's towards the end. So we'll see. It could be 3 or 4 weeks, could be 6 weeks, but yeah, I have a cast. The pain is gone though. I had pain all week prior to this. The minute they put the cast on, I felt amazing. So who knew? And this fun fact, casts are now fiberglass, so they don't weigh a lot and it breathes. So it's not the worst thing, actually. It's a lot more comfortable than the boot that I had. So you do what you have to do. Plus they have cool colors now. I picked blue. They have like blue and green and purple, so trying to make the most out of it. But anyway, the Fool card does warn against missteps like that. So I would say one thing that you want to do is look before you leap and take a calculated leap of faith. But even if you make a misstep, keep on moving, keep on. That's what I do. I keep on showing up, and we all have missteps from time to time, but it doesn't set you back. You can continue the journey. All right. Let's go ahead now and see what you chose for me. All right. So you want to know about how to regain your vision or your purpose. We're looking at the Two of Wands in reverse in the deep past. Okay, so we actually have the King of Pentacles, which is saying you've already got this, basically. But the most, and there, I mean, some of you may have a Taurus element as well, because we've got the cow there. But what I would say the most important thing in this moment is to fully present the vision with ownership. So when you say you want something, you have to truly embody that feeling that somebody else should want it too. So one of the things that you want to focus on is the idea that, like, let's say you're presenting something new and you want to pull people in. You would say, I have something really exciting and you've expressed interest in this before. I think you would like this as well. Or I can't wait to share this with you. I have a brand new way for us to do X, Y, or Z. So basically saying, like, I've already bought into this before you even put it out there. If you go back and look at really old presentations of like Steve Jobs, when he would put out a new product, he was really good at hyping things up. But he would say, this is extraordinary. This is amazing. This has never been done before, and I can't wait to share it with you. And then, a lot of fanfare. So you want to learn from good salesmen and good presenters and good public speakers by basically building up the situation. And so part of that is you've already got a vision that's worth it, but you need to get kind of hyped, and then you need to get other people hyped. The other thing here with the Prince of Discs, by the way, I think I might have said King, with the Knight of Discs or Prince of Discs, is that you want to focus on actually bringing movement to it. So a king would be stationary, but a knight or a prince is going to say, if no one else is going to do anything, I'm going to do something about this. So don't wait. There's a lack of passivity when we're looking at all of these cards today. Lots of action, lots of movement. You're the agent of your own change. You have to be invested and hyped in what you're doing. And as long as you do that, other people are going to resonate with the messages that you have. Okay? All right. Let's move on to the sun, rising, and moon. Sun, rising, moon. We'll begin with the sun sign. We have the King of Wands in reverse. So for all of you that are Capricorn sun, the most important thing for you to do is to stay open-minded. I love this card. We love that there is a ton of, wonderful energy around new ideas and great leadership energy, but the reversal of this sometimes carries with it the illusion that there's only one way to get something done. And if there is one thing, if there's only one way to get something done, you're missing out. And we have to kind of reflect back to the Four of Cups. If you're missing out on something, then it could be better. Remember here, the universe actually wants to pay you back in sort of energy for all the hard work that you've done. So if you allow yourself to think this could be even better than I anticipated, all I have to do is see where this takes me, to see what's available, then some exciting things can happen for you. So open yourself up to get out of your comfort zone, because again, if we look at these cards here, this is about not doing it the same old way. So it's going to be important for you to think about new and exciting ways to do that. You are a born leader, whether or not you believe you are. We've got both the King and the Queen of Wands, so I definitely see strong leadership energy coming through. You can handle this. How interesting is it that this, we've got the Lions on this, and then we have the Strength card here. Both of these cards are reversed. There could be a tug of war with you and someone else, very similar energies. And so one thing that I would say for you, remember the Peace card here. It doesn't have to be right versus wrong this month. You can just agree to disagree and find some concessions where it's like, well, we both want to do this. Can we just focus on getting this done and then we'll go our own way? I definitely see some of you needing to do that. And ultimately, this is one of the best entrepreneurial cards, if not the best. I would say any of the kings are good, but the King of Wands and the King of Pentacles are amazing. King of Pentacles because he's really good with money and figures. King of Wands because he's really good with ideas. So much more sort of like founder, inventor, chief operating officer. The other one might be the King of Pentacles might be more the CFO, but they're both good. They're both chiefs. And so you definitely have the ability to put your energy behind an idea or make something happen this month if you choose to do so. Okay. So it's all about leadership and open-minded leadership, and then finding the peaceful path to a resolution, even if it's just a temporary peace, and then you go your own way. And that's pretty much everything here. I would say a great time to learn, a great time to focus on yourself. You can do anything you set your mind to this month. Sky's the limit. Okay? Rising and ascendant. Emotions are both your biggest benefit, but they could also be the one thing that pulls you in a direction of, sort of slowing down a little bit here. So the Nine of Cups is all about extremes. At its best, it's optimistic. It finds a way to find the sunny side or the silver lining of any street, of any situation. But when it's reversed, it can sometimes mean that one piece of negative feedback, one technical glitch, one thing that's unexpected pulls you out of your zone. You have to get back into the zone. One thing that the past couple days of readings has taught me is that I only have like 15 seconds to freak out, and then I got to get back into it. So I'm learning to get in and out of the channel faster. And so you're going to be asked to do the same, folks. So this could be a learning experience for you. Something happens, you didn't like it, have your moment, and then get into the solution zone. What am I going to do about it? And then you figure it out. And that's it. Take a moment to have some fun. The Nine of Cups in reverse can also show that you need to blow some steam off. You've been working too hard. You've been grieving too much. You've been dealing with something too much. So you need to laugh, to cry, to scream, to play. Do something that really lets that energy go from inside where it's agitated to just something that is more constructive or just lets your body feel better. Okay? So find an outlet. And that's going to allow you to get back into your sort of Zen space. The next card in this is the Ten of Cups, which is love, support, family. You're very close to kind of connecting to all the things that you've been trying to build up to. But there's a little bit of stress, a little bit of emotion, and just a little bit of built up tension that needs to be released first. So whatever you need to do to alleviate that, the universe is supporting that. One thing that I want to mention before we move on to Moon is that this does show how you're kind of like appearing to people around you. It's the environmental kind of aspect here. So rising and ascendant can show up in work and relationships and just basically external sort of situations. So you want to show up passionate, but not necessarily as emotional. And that's a fine line. But finding a way to be neutral when you need to be neutral, this is where you're going to really find your power. So when it comes to a negotiation, you want to be very strong and you want to pull the emotion to a place that's going to be more sort of like sincerity, like something that they can relate to. If it's too strong, it gets in the way of the words. So finding your way to neutrality where you need to have the neutrality, using the enthusiasm as we talked about in the previous aspect for sun to kind of pull people in and get them excited to hype things up. And then otherwise finding just a general outlet. That's your key to success this month. As we move along to moon messages, hello. This has been coming up a lot, the Hanged Man, and it's reversed just like it came through in the one card reading. So the Hanged Man reverse is basically saying that everything is cosmically timed. The universe is purposely slowing you down so that you can see something. Maybe something isn't ready for you yet. So one of the ways that I've actually made peace with this is there's something amazing waiting for me, and I had to slow down. And all the sort of dominoes are lining up so that once this cast comes off and I'm active again, I'm going to synchronistically meet up with someone or something in the perfect timing. And it wouldn't have happened if I wasn't forced to slow down. And so for me, that's what the Hanged Man is for me right now. For some of you, it might also say, if you rush through a project or a contract or a process, you will waste time because later you're going to have to come back and fix it. So this is saying you can't go through something faster than a certain protocol allows. So slow down, enjoy this plateau, and in the plateau, look around a little bit because guess what? There's some sort of a blessing or opportunity there. And we also saw that with the Wheel of Fortune and the Three of Wands. Something is right within reach. The other thing with the Hanged Man in reverse is to take care of your ankle and your feet in particular. So one of the reasons that I got this injury is I've actually had a couple sprains on my ankle before. So one thing that I'm going to do in the future is change the type of shoes. I'll probably just wear boots permanently, different types of fashionable boots or high top shoes. And I'm going to just work with a physical therapist on a permanent basis to strengthen my ankles so that there's a little bit more strength there because I have too much flexibility in my ankles. It's a genetic issue. Nothing crazy. Just the doctor looked at them. They're like, it shouldn't flex this much. So I'm going to have to work at strengthening it. And then I'll have to wear some shoes to take care of it. But with this, you'll notice that we talked about the mythology of this the other day, actually, when I was reading for, what did I read before you? Sagittarius. But Odin put a sword through his foot and impaled himself upside down on the Tree of Life. That's what the Hanged Man is based on. So this card has to do with foot issues and ankle issues. And it can be pre-existing. It can be avoidable things like you're texting on your phone and you trip over a rock and twist your ankle. So slow down. Take care of yourself. And know that the one thing that I'm doing now, everything, I look around, I take my time, I'm slowing down because I'm the type of person that has to get everything done and really wants to make sure everything's out there. So certain things that I'm not doing is I can't put all the time codes, I can't put all the dates upcoming. I'm going to have to just now do it one video at a time and do premieres and things like that. So slow it down. That's what the universe wants me to do. Take my lead on that as well. Take your time. It's going to be better. Things will be better. It'll be less complicated. You've got to take the lead from the universe on this, okay? And that's all that's really coming through here. Patience could be tried. So in a negotiation situation, always make sure that you want to take a deep breath like I'm doing and give something time to really sit with you before you say what you want to say. Don't let impatience or emotional outbursts get in the way of otherwise a resolution, okay? Those are your messages for sun, rising, and moon. Okay, with that being said, we're going to get set up now for the final portion of today's reading. Thank you so much for your patience as we went through all of the technical blips. Like I said, I think I found a solution and it'll just be live premieres. I'll be able to hang out with you in those, so that'll be fun. Maybe if I can, what we can do is like an after chat for members or something, and I'll see if I can work something out that's special. But in the meantime, we'll figure our way to that. All right. Let's go ahead now and get ready for the meditation. Before I do that, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Clearly, you're going to need to do that because, and the bell optimization button or notification button so that you know when I post something new. You can follow me on social as well. And if you want to give back a little love and support, I would appreciate it. Okay, let's get ready for the meditation. So for today's meditation, let me focus on all the different cards here. Let's look at the table. Got a lot in front of us here. Let me look at some of these expanded cards here and see what's, I really like the idea of being able to move energy or your life in the direction that you want to. So let's imagine that you're kind of like at the captain's area of a ship, and you're holding the wheel and looking and deciding which direction you want to take. So you're the captain of your own ship. So close your eyes for a moment. I want you to just imagine yourself steering your ship, seeing the horizon being the destiny that you want. You could see on the horizon a new job, a new relationship, a healthier, happier you, anything that you're looking for in the form of health, wealth, love, stability, etc. Now, firmly place your hands on the wheel in front of you, and you can envision it as that wheel of fortune with all the different, signifying all the different signs or all the different months. You could simply see or feel that energy of movement and worth. And I want you to crank the wheel in the direction that you want to go, and know now that the wheel is in motion and that the ship is moving. That's all you had to do, was decide, I want this, I'm ready for this, I deserve this. And now each and every step of the way, just continue to course correct as you need to take a step in that direction. Remember that a ship takes time to react to the movement of the wheel. So a really big ship, a cruise liner, for instance, it's going to take a lot longer to move than a very small everyday ship that you may own and have in your dock. So imagine maybe that this is a middle-sized ship, and it's going to take a little bit of time, but you now are starting to feel and see the winds of change happen. As you move towards the horizon, see the clouds clearing, the sun shining, and as I play the singing bowl today, just allow the rays of sunshine to pull you in towards this new port of call. Taking a few deep breaths, see yourself now at the shore, the destination, the horizon that you've been seeking. Feel this sense now of things getting easier, things being okay, things starting to happen faster. The manifestation is happening more quickly than you ever imagined. And at this point, I'd like you to turn your focus towards your final question that you have for me. Anything that as of yet has remained a question mark or unresolved. Hold that in your mind's eye for a moment and let me pull a card and see what the universe has to say about that question. This is time for a new beginning. So we have the World card. She was reversed, but it's still a very positive message here. It's saying sometimes things seem like they're topsy-turvy, but they're exactly where they need to be right now. Some of you are also being encouraged to look at this from a different perspective. Interestingly enough, that Hanged Man card that I was talking about, when things are upside down, it's actually the way he's seeing the world, right? So for many of you, it's saying, if you're just willing to stand still for a minute, it might look a little bit like this. But in the Hanged Man card, Basically, he discovers the secrets to the universe because Odin was able to discover the secrets to the runes. 9 days and 9 nights, I believe, because I just read that card for a 1-card pull. So this period that you're in, it could be the next 9 days, a week and a half or so, where you're going to be focusing on starting to see things come out of the fog. This is a card of expansion and it's outreach as well. So for those of you in a business, it's about how am I going to get my message out there? Broadcasting, podcasting, disseminating, distributing, producing. For the rest of us, it's saying, I need to be a part of the world at large. I'm not outside of the world looking in. I'm on the inside of the world as well too. So there is this sort of question of how do I fit in? Okay? You have the whole world in your hands, just like the Two of Wands, but you also are in the world. So there's this, all of these are a little bit detached. So I think the one thing that I'm picking up on is how can you be feeling like this is manifesting, this is happening, this is real. Anything you can do to ground it in reality is going to help you out. This is a yes card. It's a yes card to endings and beginnings in particular. Should I leave? Yes. Should I start? Yes. Is this moving in the right direction? Yes, but it may not look the way that you thought it would look because you're going to have to really be present and look at it from all directions. And for some of you, seeing it from a different angle is actually the key to success. And that's why the World card was first. All right, so give me a moment here to pull open my browser. And I want to say thank you to the newest members and to anybody that gave a super sticker or super chat. And hopefully the connection will stay as we do this. So for members first, let's say hello. Okay, so an interesting spelling there. I think I can't really, Bocanable, Bochanable. Thank you so much for being a brand new channel member. Nicole Marquez, welcome as well. Susie Sherlock, thank you. And I think that's everybody from today. Now let's say thank you to anybody that gave a super sticker or a super chat. I appreciate those as well. So today we have a few, and I appreciate them especially since we had some glitches. All right, Gina Fabiani, thank you very much. Popcorn, Destiny Fontaine, Jaya Journeys, Monica, thank you very much. Nicole Marquez again, Lovey Wyman, and Tony McLaughlin. Thank you everybody for showing up today, for your patience and your flexibility. It's much appreciated. From my heart to yours, thank you so much. Have a great day. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you real soon.